Welcome back to another video episode of Frightmares Podcast. I'm your host, Austin Proctor, and joining me today for 2026's Evil Dead Burn is Cory Johnson.
Heyo, everybody. You stay because you like it.
Hey everybody, I'm on fire. I like how the Evil Dead movies now are living up to their name. Not that they weren't before, but Evil Dead Rise and a High Rise, Evil Dead Burn. Everything's gonna burn. It's like, all right,
it's so funny that you mentioned that because I have seen this is one of the most divisive Evil Dead movies ever.
You think?
Because I've seen half the camp is, oh my God, this is amazing. We need more Evil Dead like this. And the other half is like, it stopped being good at 2. We want our campy, irreverent Deadites back. It's just not what it used to be. And I'm like, y'all, it's called The Evil Dead. When the Evil Dead is just cackling and poking you in the ribs a little bit, that's not very evil.
Well, this one, out of the, like the 2013, the 2023, this one has the highest rating on Letterboxd at a 3.5, followed very closely by Evil Dead 2013 at a 3.4, and then Evil Dead Rise at a 3.1. So it seems to be that this version the fans are in agreement on, but yeah, there is that group of people that's like, Evil Dead's only interested in being serious now. It's not funny anymore. And I'm like, did everyone forget Evil Dead literally started as a straight up horror movie? Everyone knows that, right?
And the only reason it was quote unquote funny and campy is because of Bruce Campbell, which I still to this day will say that's where the term campy came from. They took his name and added a Y.
I mean, really, because before Evil Dead was 1981, didn't get really theatrically released until 1983. I mean, yeah, I really can't, name a campy, unless we're talking, Friday the 13th at a camp. But yeah. I really do feel that Evil Dead kind of that's really when we started getting those campy movies. And then they leaned into it in Evil Dead 2 because people really enjoyed that. So if anything, Evil Dead 2013 brought it back to the roots of what it was supposed to be, because people had a very visceral reaction to the original Evil Dead. Now, some people found it hilarious, but other people were like fainting in the theaters and like throwing up. So
Jessica hated the first one. She was like,
yeah.
What the scene with the vines, did we need that really? And I'm like, yes we did.
And I appreciate Rise for not including a tree rape scene. I also appreciate Burn for not including a tree rape scene.
Yeah.
Thank you to these movies. So this is the point in the conversation where I'm going to say not only spoilers for Evil Dead Burn, but literally spoilers for any Evil Dead that exists to this day. Except
pretty much.
It's really hard to talk about this one without talking about
maybe Army of Darkness.
Yeah, because to me, it's not an Evil Dead movie. It's more of a spinoff, and it takes place, whatever. We're talking strictly titles with Evil Dead in them, because it is very hard to talk about this movie without talking about all the other ones. I didn't realize this movie was going to pull a Final Destination Bloodlines and kind of weave everything together, but here we fucking are. I thought it was going to be a completely standalone film, and that's what we were going to do, because Rise kind of did that. I mean, there were some tie-ins, so I figured going forward, we're just going to have these standalone films. But no, this fucking movie but it starts at the same fucking lake and docks that Evil Dead Rise technically. This is always confusing for my brain, because Evil Dead Rise opens at the end of the movie, because then it flashes back. We see all of the events, and then the ending of Rise is where it began. So Evil Dead Rise is like a circle. And this movie takes place after the events of Evil Dead Rise. Like I said, at the same lake. You can see Jessica. It is a different actress, though, and I had to look this up, because the girl who gets hit by a car is Jessica. But I was like, is it the same person?
See, and that's why I got confused and why I was asking all those questions in the voice memos, because I'm like, these don't look like the people from Rise.
Yeah.
But this is very clearly the exact same setting.
Yeah.
Like, it is no doubt, like, I saw them on the water and I was like, oh, this is the same lake.
Yeah, exactly. It was very hard to mistake the dock. It was very hard to mistake the lake. And luckily, I binged all the Evil Dead movies on Friday. I did Evil Dead 1, 2, the remake, and Rise, which I guess was the best idea to do because Bruce Campbell did say in a tweet or somewhere, he was like, you might want to bone up on your Evil Dead history.
Yeah, he said you might want to practice a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
And I took that as, hey, you got to watch how we escalate the series of movies to get to the intensity of what we're going to show you now. And I was like, all right, Bruce Campbell just giving a little bit of promotion, whatever.
Right.
No, this was a fucking college course on Evil Dead history, and it almost punishes you for not knowing.
It kind of does. I just thought he was saying this to gas up the movie, or maybe like revisit the original movie. No, he was like,
he wants some more residuals.
Right. Fun fact, though, at least as of now, this will be posted later in the month, as I typically like to let people see, a couple weekends before we drop a new
because it's been
episode.
out for what, 3 days?
3 days as of right now. So this will drop at the end of the month after everyone's had a couple weekends. But yeah. I mean, every Evil Dead movie is, I think it was on Max, I believe, 1, 2. Right, or maybe it's HBO or whatever. That's the same thing, but they're all there. I mean, I own all of them physically, so I was just watching them on Blu-ray. But yeah, I'm glad I revisited all of them. Actually watched the first Evil Dead with the commentary on, because it's Bruce, Sam, and one of the producers or something like that. Got a lot of fun, stories and trivia and stuff like that on it. But then I was like, all right, that was just like so much information. It was almost a gauntlet of information. So I just decided to watch. Let me just watch these other movies. So the opening scene, like I said, is a continuation of the lake scene from Evil Dead Rise. You see Deadite Jessica after she has, taken the the drone to her face and fallen into the lake. And then you also get to see Teresa. You see her head pop up, and it's a head pop up with no scalp. And if you remember from Rise, Jessica rips off Teresa's scalp. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. We're starting here. I did not think these movies were going to be connected in any way whatsoever. But then you focus on your main family. And what I really found different about this movie is so the first Evil Dead, right? Group of friends going out to a cabin. Second Evil Dead is literally just Ash and his girlfriend. And most of the movie is Ash fighting the house by himself until the owners of the cabin arrive. Evil Dead 2013, group of friends are going out there to get someone off drugs. Evil Dead Rise is just like a family. And this was also a family, but their dynamic sucks.
Yeah, it does seem
this family fucking sucks.
It does seem that as it goes on, the dynamic of the group gets more and more broken.
It does, right?
And broken in the sense of not, oh, let's try and fix this. This is now a study on how broken can people be and still maintain the facade of normalcy.
And that's what I really liked about Rise, is because it was a family, by all accounts, that was doing great, except for the fact that their father and Ellie's husband had just left them. So it's still a broken family, but they had a great dynamic. I fell in love with that family immediately, as opposed to this family. Will and his girlfriend are fine, but it was, my God, I should probably know the main character.
Joseph and his girlfriend are fine. Will and Alice are not.
Yes, there we go. Yeah, they the movie establishes them just hating each other right off the bat. Gabby and I kept looking at each other, and we were like, Oh God, I'm so uncomfortable. Like this is definitely a different Evil Dead than what I'm used to, because usually they don't have people fighting like that.
Yeah, no,
like right off the rip.
It's generally like the intentions start off well, or at
Yeah.
least well enough.
So you have Will, who is this hothead, abusive person, and he eventually speeds off into the night. It was really great, though, because he was being a dick in the first 5 minutes, and I was like, "You die first, okay? You're definitely dying first." And then he dies first, and I was like, "Oh, sweet justice." So,
Well, technically, he dies third.
third? Oh, yeah. Sorry. From once we get introduced to our after like I guess no, that is part of the cold open, because you don't get the title card of Evil Dead Burn until like 15 minutes into
Yeah,
the
until
movie.
the first two kills, which, by the way,
Oh God.
my one and only gripe with the Evil Dead as a whole
Oh, okay.
is they are constantly getting beaten, but somehow, some way, their powers get more and more every time. And that doesn't make sense. I've seen Lord of the Rings. Every time you beat the Dark Lord, he comes back weaker and has to build back up. These motherfuckers just come back and they're like, oh yeah, now we can just boil a lake.
Oh, that was so great. Oh my God.
And see, I didn't really understand what was happening. Like, I saw the steam and I'm like, okay, sure. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. And then he crawls out and she steps on his hand and his hand just melts. And I was like, oh, she was boiling him like the prawns. Okay.
Yeah, so she quickly disintegrates those two, walks through the woods, and then stands in the road purposefully to get hit by Will and crash and burn. And that whole scene, oh God, that scene where her head is like through the window and then it's hanging by a thread and then it just falls off and rolls out and she's like, "We finally found you." I'm like, what do you mean? Why are you trying to find this person?
I was very hooked when she was like, "We finally found you." And I'm like,
what?
okay, but they've never been looking for anybody before.
Right.
Like, what's going on?
Why are we looking for this person?
Because they're never looking for the Book of the Dead.
No.
They come from the Book of the Dead. So why would they be looking for the thing that they come from? That doesn't make sense. All right. Well, what fuck it. Just shut up, buckle in, and watch the goddamn movie.
And you find out that they are after that has a name. It's
the Kandar dagger.
The Kandar dagger. So that's what they're after. They want to get that and obtain it because that's the thing that can hurt them. And what's really cool about this movie is that fucking Alice finds them all, dumps out like 6 of these daggers, picks up the dagger from Evil Dead 2. But it doesn't work. And the fan theories out there are saying that since these are these are different Deadites. These aren't the same ones.
Well, because in 2013 and Rise, it's 2 different Books of the Dead.
Right.
So this is considered to be the 3rd Book of the Dead. Mm-hmm. And from the fan theories that I've read, it's when you read all 3 spells put together from the Books of the Dead is how you get the actual devil.
Right.
Not just the Deadites. So I'm wondering if they're trying to gear up towards that. But
the next Evil Dead is Evil Dead Wrath. So it would stand to reason.
Up until those 2 end credit scenes. Well, yeah, no, up until the 2 end credit scenes, because I didn't notice the eye things until you had mentioned it at the very end. But I thought
eye things?
Yeah, with Alice at the end where her eyes get all glowy.
Yeah.
I genuinely thought, especially after she fucking jackhammered Demon Will, I was like, this is the perfect way to tie a bow on this franchise. She got rid of and hid the Kandar dagger. She killed the big bad, and she's getting away.
Yeah.
Like, this is the perfect, and if you're burning something, you're getting rid of its existence.
Right.
I was like, they're going to tie the perfect bow on this and just go, all right, franchise done. And I was like, this is a magnum opus of an ending. And then those 2 end credit scene happens, and I was like, oh, they're doing at least another one.
Yeah, Wrath is in production right now. It should be releasing next year, so that's fun. I'm very interested to know what's going on in that one. But yeah, I mean, they do mention 3 total Book of the Deads in Evil Dead 2, I think. And what's the lore on this one just goes so deep. So Will's grandfather was researching the Necronomicon. His recording is dated 1983. It is very safe to assume, even though he's not name dropped, that this is Professor Raymond Noby. It's quite easy to assume that because he's literally the same guy who was on the tapes in the 1983. He was also in the tapes in Evil Dead 2, because Evil Dead 2 is essentially they couldn't get the rights to their own movie to do a sequel. Basically, like the simplest example, the simplest explanation I can give you is that Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell could not get the rights to the Evil Dead to do a sequel. So basically, what they did is Evil Dead 2 summarized the entire first movie and the cold open to Evil Dead 2, and then completely went in a different direction. But he is also in that one on the tapes as well. So it's very easy and safe to assume that the man that Will's grandfather is Professor Raymond Noby. And there is this new bit of lore in this movie about the Circle of the Wise Men, which is something that the grandfather's recording had talked about. He also mentioned it in the journal. And it's a cult that created the Kandarian daggers, and it works against the Deadites. And I think this is the implication that this was the cult from the opening scene in 2013, the ones who set the Deadite girl on fire, and then her dad shot her in the face. It also might be a nod to the Wise Man and Army of Darkness. Perhaps he was the originator of the cult that went on to appear in the 2013 film.
Yeah, that comes from medieval times, so it has time to develop into an actual cult.
Right. So that's kind of speculation. And then there's also a sketch of the 2013 book in these journals in Evildeadburn, as well as a newspaper clipping about the events of that film. There's photocopies of Necronomicon pages, I believe those are from the 2013 book, but it's not fully clear. And then, of course, the selection of daggers. One of them looks just like the one from Evil Dead 2, as I mentioned. So it's either fake or it's one that doesn't work because these Deadites are from a different book. I'm thinking it's these Deadites are from a different book.
That's what I think too. It's this is one of the times where I'm like, all right, y'all may have made up too much lore. Not that you're luring yourselves into a corner, but you have too much to pick from to make your ideas work. And no matter what you pick from out of this franchise, you can connect it back and it'll be fine. It'll work. But there's too many options.
See, I think this movie really is building. I think this one is building towards Wrath more than like I said, I didn't think we were going to have connections this deep. And I think this was the movie that they were like trying to give you all the pieces. And then ideally, Wrath is going to be the thing that connects all of them and makes everything make sense. Because the biggest thing that doesn't make sense about this movie is the cameo of Ellie at the end. I love it. Like, it's great. But, she literally was pushed into a tree grinder along with her son and daughter because they were all that amorphous blob big monster. So the only thing I can think of, and it's what I told you when we talked briefly, is that the priest in Rise says nothing can stop this demonic force. Even the final remnants will come after you. So and then the priest at this point, when he is saying this, has hacked up the bodies and they're still coming after him. So the only thing you can do, he says, is run. Just run. That's all you can do. So how Ellie got from all the pieces she was in to the crematorium and then into an actual urn, a little loose, but the remnants coming after you no matter what still rings true. So how she got there doesn't really make sense, but it is still keeping true to it doesn't matter what form you're in, the Deadites literally, they're at least those Deadites from Rise ain't stopping at nothing. So
yeah. And when that's why I was confused with where I was like, is this before or after?
Right.
Because it was very specifically the mirror movements when the little girl was like waving and going to point, and Ellie's doing the exact same thing. And I was like, wait, is this Ellie as a little girl? Is this why she had that kind of like fucked up protection over her, why she was always trying to like make sure her family was like good is because she grew up in a fucking crematorium?
Oh man, you're right.
That's why I was confused, because I could totally see strawberry blonde little girl, all right, grow up, get darker hair to try and remove yourself, keep the hair in theme with blood, sure, whatever. But she has this extra protective layer over her two children. Like, she doesn't even want her sister's bullshit to enter into her family's life. That's why when, I can't remember the sister's name, but when she's saying like, oh, like she's trying to tell Ellie about like being pregnant and whatnot, she kind of like, I can't remember if she shoos her children away or she shuts down her sister and like, yo, we'll talk about this later.
Oh, Beth, yeah.
That's why I thought that was happening, because
doesn't in the post-credit scene, doesn't she fucking goosh that little girl? Doesn't she snap?
She does, but also we don't know if that's actually happening.
True,
That could be Ellie as a little girl having some sort of weird, like, premonition, nightmare type thing. Since the Deadites come from the land of the dead, dead is eternal and circular, so it could be like a reach from the past to get to the present type of thing.
That's true. I mean, I guess they don't really establish what time frame that's happening, and I assume it's the same crematorium as the one before.
Yeah, because it's the same head lady.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's not. They don't go into it at all.
Yeah, and it's too early. It's like very early for speculation on that because the movie just released. So give it like a week or two, and I'm sure someone will have an ending explained.
And okay, I was about to say, and especially because they never show any new technology, except Will does have a touchscreen phone, so because he drops it out of the car. But outside of that, they show no other technology. Everything is either candles or gas powered.
Oh, and the candles, when she's drinking that candle. I really did get some people confused, though. After they turned, because, you kind of look all the same when they turn, but the two main girls of fucking evildeadburn, Alice and, was it? Thea? Yeah, after Tia turned, I was like, I can't remember who's who. But
yeah, both of those women looked very similar.
Yeah, very similar. So going on to Burn itself, we've kind of covered how it's all connected to everything. So I want to ask you, where do you stand with Evil Dead Rise again? Because I know that one's very divisive on who likes it and who doesn't. Where do you stand as of now?
I have come around to really love Evil Dead Rise.
Right.
When it first came out on streaming, because we didn't get to go see it in theaters, Jessica and I turned it on. We got to, like, the first kill. Mm-hmm. Like, the first kill in the family. And we were like, nah.
Huh, okay.
This is, like, after the lake scene, we were like, all right. that was pretty fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Let's go on. And then the movie starts happening and the first kill in the family happens. And we're like, we are not in the headspace for this.
Okay.
This is rough. This hurts my heart.
Okay. It was just like, you're like, yeah, this is, we need to come back to this.
Yeah, we are not in the headspace for this.
Not that you weren't into it. Okay, got it.
And then I came back to it 2 or 3 days later. I watched it and I was like, okay, I fucking get it now. And then I made Jessica watch it and she was like, I hate this movie. Not because it's a bad movie, but she does not handle the grotesque.
Yeah.
And Evil Dead Rise was grotesque. I know some people are like, oh, well, we wanted more of this or we wanted more of this. Shut up. It was exactly the levels at which it needed to be, any more so, and I would have been like, all right, director has an issue.
Yeah.
But I have since come around to really like it. I have since even come around to really appreciate the 2013 remake.
Oh, did you not like that one?
The first 2 times I watched it, I didn't like it.
Interesting.
So the original Evil Dead for a good chunk of time was like my go to sleep movie. I would put on Evil Dead and be like, Deadites.
I'm going to drift off into sleep.
And just fall asleep to that shit. So it has a very special place in my heart. And for the reboot, I felt it very similarly to the Friday the 13th reboot, where I was like, all right, but it's not in the same spirit of what you were doing originally.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to understand, well, yeah, no shit, it's a reboot. We didn't have the technology then. We have the technology now. We can rebuild him. So
well, yeah, okay.
I've since come around pretty much full circle to all of the newer inclinations of Evil Dead.
Well, and I think that's what oh god, I'm in so much trouble. Fede Alvarez, there we go. I think Fede Alvarez, that's definitely one of the stronger ones to me, because the campy version of Evil Dead in 2013 would not have worked. That's not where horror was at. Yes, we had
definitely not.
We had Cabin in the Woods in 2011. We had Tucker and Dale versus Evil in 2010. Horror comedies existed, yes. But if you think about it, those 2 movies I just mentioned were horror comedies in cabins in the woods. So it's like, I just don't think for the time it would have worked, especially given how many Cabin in the Woods movies we were getting. They needed to go full horror and they needed to go as hard as they possibly could. And I like that change of pace, because literally every Evil Dead movie has done something a little different, right? The original 1981 movie was made with the intention to be a pure horror movie. Some people found it funny and campy.
That is 100% due to Bruce Campbell. Like, right. If they would have put anybody else in that movie, straight horror.
Exactly.
But because of the aura that Bruce Campbell exudes, you can't help but to go, yeah.
Yeah. So the 1981 was initially made to be pure horror, and then 1987 Evil Dead 2 horror comedy. You might even argue comedy horror, but there is buckets of blood in that movie. Army of Darkness is much more of like a fantasy adventure. 2013 is just unrelenting gore. Evil Dead Rise is an urban take on the movie that kind of combines gore. There's some laughs, good family camaraderie. And then Evil Dead Burn is a supernatural siege horror movie.
Yeah,
every fucking movie does something different. How is it possible?
Two things that I just want to give absolute flowers to with Burn. Number one, they did Siege so fucking right.
Man.
They escalated every step perfectly. They give you, there's trouble on the outside, and as long as we stay inside, we're good. Oh shit, the trouble's inside now. And then the other thing that I absolutely love, And when we talked to Daniel Stamm about The Last Exorcism, he was like, you know, you got to film a movie in a specific way or else marketing's going to fuck it up and they're going to put shit in the trailer that's technically not even in the movie. And when I got the full unedited trailer in the movie, I almost shouted for joy in the theater. I was like, the only difference is I'm pretty sure it's not mirrored, because they had evildeadburn come up on the right side where it would have come up on the left side in the actual movie.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Aside from that, the exact same scene, that exact same pseudo one shot, actually a one shot. I'm not sure.
Definitely a one shot. I would be very impressed if it somehow wasn't, because
it felt like a super cohesive, like perfect one shot.
I'm assuming they probably had doubles that looked, because a lot of the stuff that was happening was in the background, out of focus. So I'm assuming they had like 4 or 5 doubles of everyone, because like it's the father and I think Will just beating
Joseph
just like beating the shit out of each other,
and then the mom getting drugged the fuck around too. And it makes me really happy when you get all of the trailer moments, but then you also get the payoff of the trailer moments.
Yeah.
Like, I was not sure that the dishwasher scene was going to get shown to the extent it got shown. And not only did they do that, but then they took it one step further, and then another step further, and then they broke the fucking dishwasher, and then they used the dishwasher as a weapon.
They kept going. It was like beating a horse beating a dead horse, but in the best way possible. Because I was like, how many times are we going to use this to murder someone?
It was so good.
Oh, you know what? So I did a little mini review last night with Derek for some clips.
Kyle said he heard you talking about it.
Okay, yeah. So for some clips for his socials, and he was like, okay, how did evildeadburn get away with all of those head smashes with a fucking dishwasher door, but Obsession had to cut like 7 head smashes from
I can tell you exactly what it is.
Okay.
Deadites aren't human.
You think that's what
that 100%. You can beat a zombie or a dead enemy all the way until you want, but you can only kill a human with so much violence.
Interesting. That's probably exactly okay. Well, there, Derek. If you happen to watch this, I mean, I'm going to tell you anyways way before this, but there's your answer. That does make a lot of sense, because was that my child
or a bottle rocket?
What the hell was that? She might come bursting.
The Deadites.
Oh God. Yeah, so holy shit, they did not cut away. And you know what's really interesting is I saw a BTS clip of, it was like a behind the scene. It wasn't the camera they used to film that scene.
Right.
It was someone filming BTS of, is that Joseph's character? Who's doing the smashing?
Yeah, that's Joseph.
So it was just him going over and over, and I was like, wow, what is that? That looks crazy from evildeadburn. And then I saw it in theaters, and I was like, holy shit, that sucks for that deadite. That is a lot of head trauma.
Touching on Joseph for a second, I will say that Joseph, in my opinion, was the weakest part of this movie. They set him up to be the pivotal kind of lore linchpin in how we're gonna solve this movie.
Yeah.
And I get that, especially with the newer Evil Deads, it's like, we're gonna make the women survive this time, because we fucked those women up in the first 3 movies.
Yeah.
And we did not apologize for it. So now only the women are going to survive in these next few movies. As an apology, we're sorry for fucking y'all up in the 80s.
And that is kind of interesting because usually, 80s were very final girl heavy. And
Yeah.
Ash survives the first movie. He's the only survivor of the first movie. He survives the second movie, but he does end up, in 1308. But you're right. Every Evil Dead since has been a soul woman. Well, Mia, and then Beth and Cassie in the second one. And then this one was, I guess, technically two women, because Polly is still, she's a deadite.
Yeah, but she's a deadite, so she doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
But
Good Lord.
I also, and I get why they did it this way, because he is the broken character that can't ever stand up for anything. He is the penultimate inaction is bad message of the movie. I get it.
Yeah.
But man, he's such a fucking flop.
Yeah.
Like, can't shoot his dad in the head, can only kill something that's already like halfway dead, and then isn't even the spookiest deadite.
True.
Arguably the lamest deadite.
And it took a lot for him to even take that dishwasher like door and do that. I was like, oh wow, look at him, he finally did something.
Yeah, and that was the one thing he does.
Yeah, that was the one thing he actually does. I mean, in terms of Final Girl, though, I don't even fucking know who this Alice is. She was in Dune Part 2, which I haven't seen. She was also in a movie called Climax, which is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Not because of the acting, but it's what's his name? Gaspar Noé. He's a French filmmaker. You either love him or hate him. I can't stand his films. Nothing to do with her. But yeah, really, she's only Climax, and Dune Part 2 is really the biggest thing she's done. So, and she was also in The Carpenter's Son, which I still need to see with Nick Cage. And so I hope this kind of puts her on the map horror-wise, because she was fantastic in this movie. I really, really enjoyed her.
I also really, I wish we would have gotten just a little bit more of him. Errol Shand, the dad, he was a fucking menace. Although I will say, Hollywood, stop doing slow-mo gunshot violence. It is less impactful when it's slow. The reason guns are scary is because it's fast and it's borderline instant.
I will counter that with I don't really enjoy people trying to shooting themselves in the head. It's a whole reason why. But the first one that he did, I was like, that was really cool. And then he did it twice more, and I was like, now we're overdoing it. It's like,
see, and I think if they wouldn't have shown the slow-mo barrel flash in his cheek and the slow pop out the back of his head, if it would have just been like boom and he falls over and gets back up and then does it again, and then again, the quick 1, 2, 3 makes it more impactful. But when you spend 25, 30 seconds on the first gunshot, now I'm like, all right, he's going to shoot himself 2 or 4 more times. Like, you are now telegraphing what's going to happen. Yeah. And with all the other violence that, aside from the fucking weed eater with a circular saw blade for some reason, outside of that violence, every other piece of violence was so unsuspected. Yeah. Like, I did not know that the grandmother was going to chop her own leg off with a piece of glass. I did not know that there was going to be that fucking gross ass, technically 2 gross ass makeout scenes, one with the dentures and then one with the bloody dad.
Oh, and then the one where someone after he smashes that deadite with the dishwasher, he gets his face smashed.
Yep. So 3.
I'm like, this movie's so goopy.
No, 4. There's 4 because when he's in the bathtub getting. Oh no, it's the mom and April.
Okay.
Where, by the way, one of the one of the coolest kill attempts ever when the mom strangles her with the fucking sheet that goes across a bathtub. Shower curtain.
There it is.
That's the word I was looking for.
I couldn't think of it either.
When she's strangling her with the shower cloth and then starts pulling her backwards and the camera tilts and now she's up on the ceiling.
Oh, dude.
I was like, that's fucking sick.
I'm not.
But right after that, the mom like licks her face and she's like, I'll be right back.
Yeah. I am not even kidding when I say this. I think the person behind me probably peed their pants. When that camera shot happened and they went this way and then went to the ceiling, I literally was like, I like did that. I was like, oh. And my wife looked over and she was like, that makes sense. I was like, yo, that was the sickest shot I've seen. What do you mean?
The camera work in this was sick. I loved that they were like, oh, we can do these sweeping shots with drones now and make it way fucking better. And you get all of these like crazy aerial sweeps.
Yeah.
And then the whole fucking tussle at the bottom of the stairs from over top. And then the car over top swerving and like crashing into the giant puddle.
The camera work. Have you seen, I asked this to Derek, did you see Deadpool and Wolverine?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You remember the fight scene that they have inside the van?
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens in this. There's a fight scene inside this fucking car where I'm like, this is I'm sitting there like, this is, Deadpool and Wolverine, that was funny. You know, it's like two superheroes fighting each other. This, I was like, oh my God, there's a deadite in this car, and they're fighting inside this tiny car that is now crashed. Someone's trying to get out of the fucking sunroof. That's not working. A fucking fire extinguisher goes off at one point. I'm like, oh my God, that was one of the most stressful parts of this movie, was that car fight scene. Holy shit.
That car fight scene also made me realize I have no survival instincts. You tag me in the chest twice with anything sharp, I'm done.
I'm done. I'm
not going to try and escape. You've tagged me twice. Just finish the fucking job.
I am not going to think fast enough to know what to do. I am going to spend the entire time looking around for something, not thinking to use the fucking the headrest from the goddamn seat in front of me. No, there's no way I survive in that instance. In a house, sure, I have a lot more survival instinct. In a car, I'm just going to give up. I'm literally going to lay down.
The headrest kill was also a little excessive. Like, how you're telling me it took stabbing her 3 times with that?
Yeah,
to get her gone? Did he miss the first 2 times?
I think he did miss because it doesn't actually go through until the 3rd time. So I think either he missed or he wasn't hitting her hard enough. I don't know.
This movie also has the most pulling things out of body parts I've seen in any movie.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, this was
cutlery, a headrest, rebar in a mystery pit.
Oh God, dude, go get a tetanus shot, please. After that,
multiple knives.
That rebar scene, I was like, she's gonna have to.
The fucking corkscrew.
Oh, the corkscrew, that's right, too. That also came. And not only did she pull it out, she just pulls it out through the front of her neck. And I'm like, ugh.
I was like, ma'am, that's not how you use a corkscrew.
That's not how you use it.
Once it went in her neck, I thought she was going to, twist it and pull some shit out.
She just,
yeah.
Bro, it's so funny. This is one of the first times in a while where I've left the theater like, yes, that was a fantastic movie. I really liked it. But I'm like, because it's an Evil Dead movie, and it's part of this established franchise. And for me, my kind of hot take with Evil Dead is that every movie outside of Army of Darkness has gotten better. Like Evil Dead. Evil Dead is a 3.5 for me. Evil Dead 2 is a 4. 2013 is a 4.5, and Rise is a 5. And I'm like, I'm in this weird spot where I'm like, I don't know where this one goes. I feel like it's the most original, but I also feel like Rise was one of the most original. I feel like this was the most gory, but I know in my heart that 2013 was definitely the most gory because it's on record that they used that is one of the, I think they used the most.
It literally rained blood.
It literally, I mean, and it rained blood in Evil Dead Rise, but not nearly as much. Because they were in
drizzled blood.
Yeah, it drizzled blood because they were in a parking garage and there was only so many body parts that went through. But I mean, in Evil Dead Rise or Evil Dead 2013, it's raining blood for like the last 20 minutes of the movie.
And I loved, speaking of 2013, this is going to be a tangent ass episode.
Oh yeah, we're going all over the place.
I loved Alice's direct callback to 2013, and instead of saying eat this bitch, she says fuck your family, and then hits the whirling blade into the mom instead of the chainsaw into the face of the head deadite. It was like the perfect callback. That one was, I was like, all right, that's how you do a callback.
And you know what? And this isn't a callback to an Evil Dead movie. This is a callback to a Friday the 13th movie with that fucking edger thing that they have.
Yeah.
Because Friday the 13th Part 7 includes a scene where Jason has that same piece of equipment, and it has that not your typical weed whipper, plastic, whatever it's called. It has that metal blade. But because of the 80s and where they were at with their ratings and stuff, they really had to pull the reins back on the gore from like Friday 5 and on. So we don't really get a sweet kill with that. And in Evil Dead Rise, they're like, hey, do you remember Friday the 13th Part 7 when you really wanted to see an awesome kill with that, like that weed eater thing? We're going to give you like 3 of those. And I felt so vindicated from a movie that's not even part of this great franchise. I was like, yes, give me all of those. And that scene, I think it's Alice, where she's got like her teeth on the blade and someone is about to start it. I'm like, yo, I was squirming in my seat. I was like, I can't right now.
And the pen scene directly before that, the only reason this movie did not get a 5 from me is because there were like 2 or 3 moments where I was like, I genuinely cannot watch this.
Oh,
like,
shit.
This is so visually upsetting to me that I have to cover my eyes, because if I see what sounds are making these sounds, I'm going to have an issue in this theater.
See, I'm the opposite. I don't want to hear it. I want to see it. So I'll plug my ears to not hear the grossness, but I have to know what's going on visually. But if this movie's making you cover your eyes, if anything, that should make you give it 5 stars.
Well, no, because I want to see it, but I know that the level of violence is going to be so deeply upsetting that it's not going to be enjoyable.
Fair. Okay.
It's like, how the fuck you killed the dog twice?
That's where I'm going with this. When the second they introduced that dog, I was like, I know that fucking dog's gonna die. And I got actually really happy when like the dad is outside and he whistles for him and it's a dead-eyed dog. I was like, oh shit, you've redeemed yourself. And then they fucking kill it again. And I was like, now what the fuck?
Yeah.
I was like, you can't do that to me. You can't kill this dog twice. So that's
not only can you not kill the dog twice, you can't cheap out on how easily you kill the dog the second time when you kill the dog with a dinner fork.
Yeah.
The first time.
Yeah.
That was arguably one of the most violent kills.
Yeah, so that's the only reason this one's probably not gonna get a 5 for me, because I'm like, I knew the dog was toast the second they introduced it. I mean, it happens in Evil Dead 2013. I don't think there are any animal deaths in Rise, but I was like, I know that dog is toast, and like he literally was introduced just to die. But I got super excited. I was like, oh my god, dead-eyed dog, this is fun. And then of course, yeah, like I said, they killed him again. But I think this involves the dog, this scene where Alice is reading the passages and she gets to the fourth one, she's like, nah, fuck it. I was like, oh.
And then the dog flies
the
through the fucking window.
I thought that was so great. I was like, finally, someone didn't finish reading it. I mean, it's too late for them. Like, it's way too late. Like, but still, I was like, you didn't finish reading the incantation. I love this. Another way to flip the script.
Okay. Now this goes in some theory crafting.
Sure.
What would have happened if she did? Because the Deadites were already there. Well, generally, the Deadites don't show up until the four words are read. And that's what releases them. But the Deadites are already not only out and moving around, but they're actively coming after you. So what happens if she does finish the incantation? Does just everything die immediately and it's like movie over? Or
if we remember that these are the Deadites from Evil Dead Rise, which is a different book than 2013. I'm pretty sure because the what she was reading from, I'm almost positive, was the 2013 book. So I think if she would have read that passage out loud, we would have gotten more Deadites. Like,
okay, so if we're getting two sets of Deadites, then are we gonna get like the Warriors situation where they're both criminal groups, but they're gonna fight against each other for power for who is the best Deadite? Do we get Deadite Civil War, or are they teaming up? And if they're teaming up, what's the point? Because assumedly they're working for different goals.
Right.
Because, like, the Deadites from the original Evil Dead, they just kind of want to possess you. They just kind of want to be inside of humans so they can move around.
They literally are like, they're like, join us, you know, like, we want you on our team. We have cookies.
Yeah, it's just the, ooh, let's be evil type shit.
Yeah.
And then you get 2013 where it's like, I want to bring hell on earth.
Yeah.
I am going to usurp the Antichrist, soak the world in blood. And then you get Rise, and it seems like those Deadites are just like, we just want to take your souls.
Yeah.
We're just gonna take your souls down to hell and munch on them. You're snacking souls right now.
Yeah, and that's
with no other real gain to them. They just want to take your soul. So
you're dead on with that one from Rise, because when they think Ellie is dead and they have her on the bed, Beth's phone rings or whatever, and it's the voicemail from Ellie that she's like, hey sis, but then it's like, Ellie, help me, like, I'm burning, I'm in hell and burning. So it's like, those ones just want to take you, put you in hell, and kind of just take over your body and go get more friends. So I guess, man, I'd like to assume that all the Deadites would pretty much just like go scorched earth. Everyone's gonna, it doesn't matter who you are, Deadite or human, we want to be the Deadites that stay here. So
fair enough.
I don't know. maybe we'll get all three versions of the Deadites in Wrath, and that's what's
that seems what it's leading up to anyway.
It does, because the Evil Dead 1 and 2 are the same Deadites, same Necronomicon. Evil Dead 2013 is, I don't know, I feel like it's the same one because it was in the basement wrapped in barbed wire, but I also like to think that's the second book of the Dead. And Evil Dead Rise is definitely a different book because that has fucking, like, teeth marks on it. So we have all three books. All three books now are established in the world. Is that what's going to happen in Wrath? Like, we're all just going to read from all three of these books and fucking chaos is going to happen? Like, I have no idea.
It's got to be at least in that direction.
So, I don't know. I'm just very excited for if they have to market it the same way they did this movie, because you're right. When I saw that teaser trailer and it was just a one shot of 30 seconds of the movie, I'm not gonna lie, I was waiting for it. I was like, okay, when's this happening? And then the second I saw her get thrown and the camera shift by the table, I was like, oh, here it comes. I was like, oh my god, here it comes. And then it happened just like the trailer, and I was like, that was literally, even though I knew what was gonna happen, that was probably the most satisfying part of the movie, is that they didn't just bullshit a clip for a teaser trailer. They didn't change anything about it. Same exact thing from the teaser. And I was like, this is perfect marketing.
And not only that, but the handful of seconds leading up to and the like minute and a half after in that one shot were so cohesive with what was going on. I was like, okay, that's not just a trailer clip. You didn't throw this in the movie just to have something to put in a trailer.
Right.
All of this mattered with it led up to this scene and then moved on. On that subject, I really thought they were going to do something way more important with that gazebo, aside from set it on fire in the end.
Oh, yeah.
Because they showed that gazebo almost more than the outside of the house.
Yeah, they did show that. They did show that one a lot, and I was wondering if there was any significance with it. And it doesn't seem to be very significant.
Unless it's like a visual representation of the openness and circular nature that a family is supposed to have, and then you set it on fire to destroy it. But that's looking way too deep for something that Lee Cronin produced.
Exactly, yeah. Which I did see that. I saw that he produced it, and I was like, because he was supposed to direct this one, but then he did The Mummy instead.
Yeah, but I think with The Mummy's reception, they were like, "You're not directing this one."
Yeah, I don't know, but I like this director, Vanacek, Sebastian Vanacek. I'm gonna see what you've done before. I don't. He was like Fede Alvarez at the time. I was like, I don't really know. Oh, that's right. He did Infested, that spider movie from 2023, where it is residents of a rundown French apartment building battle against an army of deadly, rapidly reproducing spiders.
Okay, that's where all the French influence came from. Then, because I was like, why France? Like, okay, yeah, he went to culinary school in French, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
What the fuck was that restaurant?
Yeah, that was it was like a nightclub restaurant? I don't know. That was weird.
I have never been to a restaurant where there was shaking ass.
Oh, that was so jarring. Oh my God. That was so jarring when they went straight from that scene from like the lake or whatever to a booty jiggling. I was like, I was just like, oh, okay. I didn't know what was happening. And then it's a club. And I was like, that was so jarring. What is happening? Yeah, I don't know what that was, but definitely French inspired, I want to say. I feel like that's something that would be common over in France. Although I have no idea because I've never been.
I don't know. I saw As Above, So Below, and even their club scene was pretty boring.
Oh, yeah, that's true. The club that they went into to go see Papillon. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I don't know. But he really has only done... This is his second movie. Everything before Infested, we've got a 12-minute short, a 30-minute short. So, yeah, this is his second movie. So he might be a new rising voice in horror. I think he definitely earned a spot in the Hall of Fame of Evil Dead. I also really didn't notice... I mean, I know there was CG, but, like, I couldn't really tell you... Besides, like, the dad's head at one point. Obviously, the dad's head
at one.
And in the dog. But, you know, thinking back, I'm like, a lot of this looked fucking practical. And that's the one thing I appreciate about the Evil Dead franchise is that no matter what, you can expect as many practical effects as they can humanly do. And it is also, in my opinion, probably the most consistent franchise in horror today.
Like, I could definitely tell... that the fishhook kill, like, that was very obviously a mask that they put on this man.
Oh, that fucking sucked.
But damn, they fucking crafted that mask amazing.
Yeah.
And see, I thought they were going to give us a, what was it, Resident Evil 2? Where the guy gets chopped up by the lasers? Or is that Resident Evil 1?
That's Resident Evil 1, I think. I'm pretty sure.
I thought we were going to get that, but with the fishing line. Like, they were just going to cube up his head, like, split. But then they're like, oh, no, we're just putting hooks everywhere, a la Pinhead. And I was like, okay, you have my attention.
You have my attention. Yeah. So since we're, because that was the opening, let's talk about openings, right? I mean, arguably, there's no cold open in the first Evil Dead. The second Evil, not really.
You get the first establishing kind of sweepy pan through the bog, which one of my white whales of this show is I want to get fucking Sam Raimi, and I am going to make him tell me how they did that. Because I 2x4 and we walked through the water. How did you not make the ripples? How did you do that if you were in the water with the 2x4 and the camera to sweep across the fucking shit?
Yeah.
How are there not ripples in the water? You tell me, Sam Raimi.
I will see if is that on the first one, or was it?
Yeah, that's in the very first one.
Damn it! I didn't hear it. They were more focused on talking about stories, which I appreciated. But I'm also like, can you tell me about like the movie? I want to know about things happening on screen. So Evil Dead 2 definitely has, I would consider, much more of a cold open, because they literally recap all of the events from the first movie, and then the entity comes flying through the cabin, hits Bruce Campbell, and then he starts flying through the trees. Cold open. Evil Dead 2013. Holy shit. That is definitely, I think that's my favorite cold open, because holy shit is it's just very, very aggressive. Rise also, to me, has the best title card of any horror movie to exist.
I think Rise, out of the franchise, is my favorite cold open.
Okay.
Because it's the first one that really shows like technology in the series.
Yeah.
But when you take drone and smash it into somebody's face.
That's true. I do appreciate what they did with that, because you get the the Evil Dead cam that I'm going to call it, immediately in Rise, going over this tree through this little river, and then it flies over the open water, and I'm like, God damn, are we just doing the entity now? And then it's a drone. I was like, oh, very nice. And then it goes even further when Teresa goes inside and she's reading Wuthering Heights, of all things. But then Jessica, who's already been possessed, because this is taking place after all of the stuff in the high rise, when she started reading the pages that Teresa was on in the demonic voice, that shit gave me fucking immediate goosebumps. And then you get a scalp rip, then you get a drone to the face, and then you get her rising over the lake with Evil Dead Rise like in the back. Okay, that might be that might be my favorite now too, that you said, because there's so much that happens in that opening, and you're like, Jesus Christ. But I'd still say 2013,
especially because I thought those were all gonna be main characters.
Right, they fucking pulled a Scream on us, and instead of just killing Drew Barrymore, they killed everyone at that cabin.
Everyone on screen, gone.
Everyone on screen, done. I would say 2013 is definitely the most brutal. I'd say Rise is definitely the strongest. And this one, I don't know, it just went on for so long that I forgot about the title card until it happened.
I didn't even know if they were going to do a title card.
Right? But
I thought this was just going to be, especially because they give you the title card again in the credits.
They do, that's true.
I was like, all right, well, this is just going to be a title card-less movie.
Yeah, that's what I figured. But they pulled a Friday the 13th remake on us, because the title card for that doesn't come up until about 18 minutes almost, which is like at the time in 2009, it was one of the longest cold opens in like horror history. And then by the time the title card comes up, I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. I was like, all of that was in the intro. I was like, oh, this movie's not going to be fun. I am not going to enjoy this in like I'm going to be mentally scarred after this movie. So where do you think this one sits for you as not just cold opens, but like where do you think this one's going to sit for you in your rankings?
In the franchise rankings?
Yeah, in the franchise rankings.
It's hard.
This one's tough, dude. I struggled with this one. I don't know where to put it.
Because the way that Evil Dead works for me, and I'm sure a lot of other people agree with it, is you've got the two eras of Evil Dead. You've got the OG era and the remake era.
Yeah.
And I kind of view those as ever evolving in like products together.
Okay.
Like Evil Dead 1, 2, and
Army of Darkness.
Technically Army of Darkness. That is one thing.
Sure.
And then 2013 Rise and now Burn are one thing.
Okay.
It's very hard for me to separate because without the previous one, this next one doesn't have as much impact. Because like you said, they keep getting better and they keep pushing the envelope of, all right, what can we put on camera? Right. Okay, how fucked up of a dynamic can we write? Okay, how damaged of a person can we make believable? All right, how much shit can we put one person through and have them still walk away? It's ever evolving, so it's really hard. And so like Evil Dead Rise made me appreciate the 2013 remake more.
Okay.
Burn has now made me like Rise even more. And I'm sure that Wrath is going to do the same thing to Burn. It just builds on top of itself to make the older project shine more.
Yeah.
And to showboat on the current or the next one. So it's very hard for me to be like, oh, boom.
Okay.
But if you put a gun to my head and say, do this or we're killing your cat.
So a gun to your cat's head, I guess.
No, a gun to my head that they're going to move and then shoot my cat.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Too many layers. Go ahead.
I would probably say, at least until Burn comes out on streaming, I'm gonna say Rise, just because it's the one that I have probably seen the most of in earnest. Okay. Like, I've definitely seen Evil Dead 1 more than most movies I've seen.
Okay.
But most of the time I didn't put it on to actively watch it.
Right.
I put it on in the background because I'm like, I love Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
The Deadites cackling is one of the best things ever.
Great.
I love the zoom in of the evil yellow eyes. It's all comfort to me.
Yeah.
But I was never watching it to be like, oh, fucking Evil Dead 1, put it on and focus. Like, so Evil Dead Rise is probably the one that I've watched the most, like, earnestly to, like, sit and be like, all right, I want a fucked up blood kill movie.
Yeah. Okay. So it would be Rise and then Burn. Was that what we're saying?
Probably for the moment.
For the moment, I think that's where I'm at. Because, like I said, to me, every Evil Dead movie has gotten better, and I think this one is going to sit right below Rise. Probably at a 4.5, just because I can't get over them killing the dog twice. One time is my limit for horror movies because I expect it at this point. So it's like whatever, but twice I'm like, that is just too far.
There's also something about Rise and it being a predominantly female cast.
Yeah.
That feels a little bit more special to me because, just as we all know, women are the fairer and the better sex, and if you don't think that, you're wrong.
You're the problem.
But women naturally in real life approach problems differently than me as a man.
Of course.
And generally they have a much deeper thought process about it. So to watch these women take on this demonic entity in a much less brutalist way.
Yeah.
Like, Bruce Campbell, shotguns and chainsaws.
Right.
There you go.
That's it.
But then you get to 2013, and I can't remember her name, but she has to outsmart the deadite to then put a chainsaw on its face.
Right.
Like, there's a whole mental level that you have to get through to then be able to do the brutality.
Yeah, she rips off her own arm.
Yeah.
With
from under a car.
From under a car, just so she can survive, and then jab a chainsaw directly through her. I mean, that's one of the greatest kills of the 21st century.
With one of the best lines of "Eat this, bitch!"
Eat this, bitch! Boom! Like,
yeah.
Yes.
So to watch a predominantly female cast go after that, and the levels of
Nice.
self-sustainability,
Levels,
family, boom, boom, boom. Like there's just more to it.
Yeah.
And it's nothing that's even explicitly said. It's just like, we now know, because it's women, there's more to it than what we're just seeing. And it's something that you feel a little bit more than you necessarily observe.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. And again, I will harken back to what I said with there being no incestuous, Jesus, no rape at all in this one, which was great. There was implied when she's in the elevator and she's all strung up and the power goes out. Like, that was the quote unquote moment where it would have happened, but it didn't. And also, we also get a Shining reference in Evil Dead Rise when that elevator fills up with blood and then falls and hits the bottom. We get a Kubrick moment. Like, 10 out of 10, dude. I mean, come on. So I agree with you. Yeah, it's going to be very hard to top Rise, pun intended, but I think Burn did just a magnificent I mean, it's wild to me because the bigger franchises, Freddy, from Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Friday the 13th, they all have at least one or two movies that just fucking suck. An Evil Dead franchise does not have a single bad entry, even ratings wise, like not just from me. Like, every Evil Dead has like a 3 point, like, I know Rise is the lowest, but like every Evil Dead has like a 3.4 and up. That's fucking nuts to me. So
it's one of the few horror franchises that the horror community, for the most part, is pretty unanimous, and we like it.
We like it. What's the next one? Couple more things here. What was I gonna say? Blah, blah, blah. Oh yes, we mentioned this at the beginning, but I really wanted to mention it again. I feel that every Evil Dead movie has a unique environmental obstacle, like obviously cabin in the first one. Then we had I guess what was it? One
cabin.
Fantasy England, cabin with blood rain, apartment building, and then now just like lots of fire. Like every movie just has this different, in a way, obstacle to overcome. And especially the one in the 2013. I mean, they all had basements, but that basement in 2013 had water in it. Fucking Eric was down there. We all thought Eric died, and then he came back to fuck it up even more. Eric is the worst part about Evil Dead 2013. Not only does he complain about everyone being late, he reads from the book. We all think he's dead, and then he comes back. Fuck Eric 4 times. Fucking
he does, however, get arguably the best death on camera.
He absolutely does, and it's well deserved. I like when you make this character so unlikable, and they end up getting the best death on scene. So I mean, this is one of the most consistent franchises. I really, really like how they're doing. They're keeping the Deadites kind of similar with these remakes. They all seem to have some sort of kind of a glowing eye. They have just stuff going. I don't know. They just all kind of look and vibe the same, but they also feel completely different at the same time. I don't know. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yeah, I think for me, the only thing that really stays in the remakes, at least consistent, is what I am going to call the shattered pupil.
Yeah.
The star pupil thing that when it gets dark, they kind of glow like the dead lights from it. But in the light, it's just this pasted over iris with this pupil that you stares into your fucking soul.
Ooh, man. Those moments where they're looking at you like dead on, it's fucking horrifying. Also, since people had been complaining kind of about, not complaining, but people were like, I've just read, they're only interested in exploring Evil Dead with just violence and gore. This one brought in a lot of humor, and I feel it worked. Someone I saw on one of the groups was like, the Evil Dead burn is proof that we need comedy in Evil Dead movies. And I was like, no. It's not proof that we need it. It's proof that it works, and it's working, and we can use it. Doesn't mean we need it. This movie proved that it is possible to kind of bring it back to the Evil Dead 2 of it all and put some humor in there and still be horrifying at the same time, because it was so unexpected in this movie. I'm like, oh, that's funny. I'm scared now because I feel like something horrible is coming next.
Yeah, and also to the detractors of Evil Dead and the violence, I ask of you, what do the words Evil Dead mean? What else but violence?
Where is the humor in the title of Evil Dead? There isn't. So I was very surprised to see a lot of comedy. I mean, really, it was mainly from the grandma.
Yeah, I was about to say, I just got out of this movie.
Yeah, you did, and I just saw it yesterday.
There was only like one moment where I was like, heh, and that was when Thea was behind the closed door before it's revealed that she's a Deadite, and she's like, "It's me, let me in." And the grandma's like, "She's back to steal our money." And I was like, okay, that's funny. But then she did that same bit like 3 more times, and I was like, all right, this is not funny anymore. Now the grandma's just racist.
Yeah, she did make that joke quite a few times. But then there was the moment, too, where she gets strapped to the chair, and it's a shot of the chair going up really slowly. And I was like, that's funny. And then she gets strapped to it going down after she's a Deadite, and it's pulling her down. And I was like, that's funny, too.
And my grandfather for my entire life had MS, and he couldn't walk. Instead of, because we lived in Florida, we didn't have like fucking giant stairs and shit.
Right.
But we did have like this transfer thing bolted into the ceiling so we could like move them around easily. I just saw that and I was like, oh.
Okay, yeah.
So for me, I get why other people thought that was funny, but for me, I was like, oh, invalid older family member. That's just sad.
Yeah, that makes sense. For me, it's just like, see, for me, every time I see one of those elevator kind of chairs in movies, I always remember the scene from Gremlins where the lady gets just fucking yeeted out the top window from Gremlins.
And see, I think of that horrible fucking set of scenes from Annabelle Creation.
Oh no!
And how fucking terrifying that is.
I don't know what it is with horror movies and those electric chairs that go up, but god damn it.
It's because they're fucking scary.
Yeah, they are.
The scariest part of those things is the reason you're in it is because your legs don't fucking work and you can't run away. We're going to strap you into this thing that's going to cement you to a wall. And guess what? Now the seatbelt doesn't work and you're stuck.
Oh, and that I think the one from Annabelle Creation is the scariest, because it's like that one's in like, they're set in like the 50s, and that's like a very rudimentary version of that, and you're like,
yeah, it's like one step away from being crank powered.
Right, like I wouldn't be surprised if someone was down there fucking cranking that shit. But yeah, there was some decent moments where I was like and then of course the mid-credit, oh my god, this was the best part about the mid-credit scene in my theater, because I had a full theater. I'm talking like there was maybe 3 empty seats outside of, like the ones towards the front. And we were having the greatest time. And I did like mention to the people around me, I was like, hey, man, like mid-credit scene, don't leave, post-credit scene. And the second that they showed the road, this guy in the back screamed like, it's gonna be the grandma, isn't it? And it zooms up to the grandma. He's like, I told you, bitch. And
See, and I had the exact opposite. I was in the theater that I was in, the seats go from A to H. So not that many rows of seats. And I was in 5C. So I was in the direct fucking middle. Yep. And there was one guy in like H10. So he was way back in the corner. And as soon as that fade to black hit and the credits came up, I turned around to tell this guy, like, hey, there are 2 end credit scenes, and he was gone. So I'm sitting there.
All by yourself.
I'm sitting there. The lights have not come up yet. The mid-credit scene happens. Credits start rolling again. Lights go up.
Okay.
The lights are completely on in this theater. And I hear the doors open. And there are 2 theater workers who cannot start doing their job until I leave. So they're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? So they stand there and watch the final end credit scene.
Oh, no.
And I stand up to walk out. And they both look at me and go, do we have to fucking watch this movie now? And I'm like, you got to go back and watch Rise first to come back to
like,
this.
you got to watch. Yeah, I was going to say, how did they not know about it? It just came out this weekend. That's
also because of where I live in the middle of nowhere, Northern Neck, Virginia. This movie theater is employed by almost strictly, unless you're in the restaurant, I don't think any of these people are over 25.
Oh my
so
God.
There's a good chance that most of them don't even know what the series is to begin with.
That's fair. Yeah, they might have only heard of Rise, if that.
And I don't think.
Oh man.
I don't even know if that theater existed when Rise came out.
Oh, is
like,
it new?
It is a brand new complex. It's been there for like maybe 3 years.
Oh shit. Okay.
And it's the only theater in town.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, and
it is the only theater in town so much that they are still showing 3 separate movie times of Disclosure Day.
Oh my God. Whew, okay. Yeah, I think that one's pretty much almost gone from my theater. So, yeah, and I only know about the mid and post-credit scene because of Spencer. He saw it like Thursday night, and he was like, hey, by the way, there's mid and end. And I was like, oh, I was like, whoa, okay. It's like, that's...
Spencer's that motherfucker that sits through the credits regardless.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, every time I go to the theater with him, I end up standing up. Like, once the credits roll, I'm up, and I'm like, come on, buddy, let's go. Like, not everything's going to have...
And Spencer's just like, nah.
So I'm the only reason I know because I saw it literally technically opening day, which was Friday. I probably wouldn't have seen those. So he told me, I told you. I also told Derek as well. I was like, there's.
I gotta ask Kyle if he saw it because
yeah.
I was talking to him and he was like, yeah, I was gonna go see it tomorrow, but I was just hanging out in my house bored, and I looked up at like 9:30. Saw there was a showing at 10:20 and just walked out of the house and went and saw it. I'm like, that's a better way to fucking live right there, dude.
That's a great way to live. Okay. So, I mean, yeah, this is Evil Dead is remaining one of the most consistent franchises over 45 years now, 81. Yeah, 45 years. I mean, we're coming up on the 50th anniversary. Well, it's about 5 years away from that. So where do we go from here? I mean, Wrath is literally either in production or it is wrapped. It is scheduled to release next year. I don't know. What do we want to see at this point?
Honestly, they have done such a good job with what they're delivering, I am making no demands of this franchise.
Exactly.
Because I didn't ask for the reboot. They gave it to me anyway. Hated it at first, but I've come around. Did not ask for Rise at all, and you fucking traumatized me. And then after Rise, I was like, you know what? I could use another Evil Dead. Yeah. And they go, okay, we're going to light one on fire and hand it to you.
Careful, this one is hot. Yeah, seriously, I remember when they announced, because Evil Dead Rise was supposed to go straight to HBO Max originally. When they first announced it, and I was like, I'm out. I was like, I don't want a straight to fucking streaming Evil Dead movie. They're going to ruin the fucking franchise. And then I figured by the time that they wrapped it and showed it to test audiences, they were like, oh, we got to make money off of this. So going into Rise, I was like, all right, I don't think this is necessary. And then after that title sequence, I was like, oh shit, they might have something, and they absolutely did. So going into Burn, it's a franchise that you go into the movie, you're like, I have no idea what's going to happen, and I'm ready for the ride.
Especially because they released 2 trailers, one of that one shot and one like ultra teaser, like 15-second trailer where they're like, those were like the only 2 trailers that I saw that got released. It gave you nothing. I didn't even bother with the second one because I was so hooked from the first one. I was like, I don't even I saw one scene from the movie. That's enough information. It's Evil Dead. And I'd like to think it's like they don't really need to market it that much. It's Evil Dead. Yeah.
It's been around.
It's kind of baked into the lexicon.
Yeah, people are going to show up regardless. And especially after this, I'm like, now I'm just like, let's keep doing these, but let's know when enough is enough. Because let's not ruin a good thing like what happened with Scream, They did 6 Scream movies, like them or hate them. They're all pretty consistent. And then Scream 7, I was like, well, there we go. We've officially become Stab now. It's time to stop making Scream movies. So let's just not go there. You make a mediocre one, then let's call it a day. But as of right now, like, I don't want anything. Just show me another Evil Dead movie. I'm here for it. I will be there opening weekend like I was for Rise.
Don't do the Insidious or the Conjuring thing where they're just like, oh, we're just going to attach a name to it and fucking go.
Yeah. So I'm very excited for Wrath. I'll keep you up to date on that. But I think that's all I've got for this one. It's an incredible movie. I hope it stays strong at a 3.5 after the weekend, and then the next weekend I hope it makes all the money it can. Because seriously, this is man, what a franchise, and I'm glad we did this now because I was like, I'm like gone all next week on a trip for my kid's birthday, and I'm like, if I don't do it today or tomorrow, I'm going to forget everything.
Yeah,
and I will have no way to have a conversation
because this is one of the few times that a on rails movie really works for me because pretty much
what do you mean on rails?
So like pretty much as soon as they get to the house, they go, all right, you're in the house.
Yeah.
Now we're going to run you through this house and we're not going to stop until we get out of this house. And even once we get out of the house, you're still just a little bit in that cart and we're going to direct you on where to go. It's not like some of the so for example, Obsession.
Yeah.
There's no direction about anything that happens in Obsession. You're like, okay, Nikki's fucking obsessed. Oh shit, duct tape door.
Yeah.
Okay, Nikki's obsessed. Oh, she is standing there pissing and shitting herself. Like nothing was nothing was expected.
Yeah.
Where once we got to this house in Burn, I knew shit was about to kick off because the only thing that I have seen for this movie is this fucking house.
Yeah.
I know there's this house and they're going to light it on fire. And you now have to show me how we get from house to house fire. And that's all they do. It's the best version of a haunted house roller coaster that you can get. It's an actually scary haunted mansion.
Because usually, I only use off the rails to describe movies. So I'm like, what is on the rails horror movie? And that you're exactly right.
It is an on rails horror movie because
even though everything's going nuts.
But see you get in, they're in the attic, they circle back down to the dining room, everybody's eating, they go back upstairs, downstairs, and it's all very like
you
go here and then you go there, but it's all very directed. Like,
I love it.
The director is saying, hey, I am taking you these places. It's not, the characters aren't exploring and finding shit in the basement. Joseph already knew where all this shit was in the attic. The dad already knew where all this shit was in the basement. Like, this is their house that they lived in for a while.
Yeah.
And then the house just got inherited by Joseph. So everybody's already established in this location except for us, the viewer. So they say, hey, get in this ride cart and let us take you through what's going on.
And that's the first Evil Dead movie to do this, because the first 3 were cabins. Yes, the second one was an apartment building, but it's also an apartment building with hundreds of other tenants. So this is the first time where it's like, this is a house in the middle of nowhere that is a family house. So that's like the first, my mind is being blown right now.
This is also the first Evil Dead where there is outside intervention at the end. Fucking paramedics show up to help.
That's true.
There is somebody else going, oh shit, look at the destruction that just happened. Because the one paramedic says, who did this to you? And Alice says, my ex-husband. No other Evil Dead movie has ever had a character in the shit have to even try to explain to somebody that wasn't there what has happened.
The only time that has happened is in the unrated cut of 2013, but it is a post-credit scene. But again, not theatrically. That was added in the unrated cut.
See, that doesn't count.
Yeah, and Mia gets into a car with some guy who takes her to safety, so that doesn't count. But you're right. And it also ends with I don't know what it is with movies ending with a woman smoking a cigarette. Like, Ready or Not, I don't know what it is, but every time a movie ends and a girl just lights a cigarette, I'm like, this is it's
so
10 out of 10.
My theory on that is there has been a recent kind of thought of people saying the reason more people are depressed and the reason that food does not taste as good as it used to is because nobody smokes cigarettes anymore. Nobody is going outside and communing with the other smokers that are there, and nobody is getting that micro shot of nicotine on whatever they're eating because the person cooking it or the restaurant that you're in is filled with fucking smoke. So I think it's a play on the idea of nobody smokes anymore.
Right.
So we're going to give permission to the final person to just hit that nick stick. Like, you know what will make all of this bullshit better? Just a cigarette. Like that one brief moment of like reprise.
Yeah, I love it. But you're right. Yeah, this is the first Evil Dead where someone is rescued by paramedics. A third party comes in. Evil Dead 1 and 2, that doesn't happen. Definitely doesn't happen in Army of Darkness. At least I don't think so. 2013, not on the unrated, not unless you're watching the unrated cut. And then Evil Dead Rise literally ends with the camera running to Jessica's face. So yeah, this is you're 100% right there. This is. The more it sits with me and the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm enjoying it. And I desperately, if I had probably next week after I'm back from vacation, when I have my Tuesday night off, I'm probably going to go rewatch this because I just want to see it. I just want to see it again. I've seen Backrooms twice. I've seen Obsession twice. I've seen Undertone 3 times. This is the year of rewatches for me. I don't know what's going on, but I'm making sure my top 10 this year is as accurate as it can possibly be.
Speaking of our top 10, after we finish recording, I have to talk to you about my top 10 dilemma that I am experiencing right now.
All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this up then, because I think we have talked about the movie for as long. Actually, no, this one's an hour and 50. I was thinking Evil Dead Rise. That one's 97 minutes. We've talked for this movie as long as Evil Dead Rise is. So those are our thoughts, our feelings on the not just Burn, but the franchise and where it's heading. I don't know what we're doing. Hold on, what month is it? This is July. This is going to release.
Julycanthropy.
Julycanthropy. This is going to release at the end of July, and then Zach Kreger's Resident Evil will be the next one that we cover. That one is probably going to be me, you, and Gabby, because we're also excited for that one. So I am beyond hyped for Resident Evil. That one's August, right? Let me make sure I'm not. It's either August or September, but let me make sure that
I thought it was coming out July 29th.
Did they move it up? Don't tell me they moved it up. I'll freak out if they moved it up. Resident Evil. All right, here we go. Releasing. Oh, September 18th. Oh, my. Okay, so I don't know what we're going to cover in August. That'll be a mystery. So we'll cover something. But, yeah, then we'll do Evil Dead. Or then we'll do Resident Evil. Resident Evil Dead. But, yeah, so nonetheless, Evil Dead Burn. If you haven't seen it by this point, it's been out for a few weeks. By the time we post this, go see it. They've already announced a 4K Steelbook, which I will be pre-ordering the second I can, because I have all the other ones, and this art on this one looks incredible. Any final closing thoughts from you on the franchise as a whole, or just the movie itself?
This movie was fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Like, I walked out of this movie, and I had, like, a thin layer of sweat across my brow, because as much as I was enjoying it, like, every time the violence started, I got anxious, because I was like, how are they about to fuck me up?
Yeah. You're right, and yeah, you didn't even take Jessica to this one, because, and probably good thing you didn't, especially
not only that, but like the subtext of like the broken family dynamic, and like all the other shit. I was like, oh, Jessica might have broken up with me over this movie.
And I like how this movie isn't really necessarily using grief and trauma. It's just a broken family. This family is
It's not using grief and trauma. Grief and trauma is just there.
Yeah.
And that's why the other stuff is happening.
Yeah, the family already was fucked to begin with emotionally, and now they're fucked physically. It's a great juxtaposition. So that is Evil Dead Burn from this year. Go check out the podcast. August, we're doing Animaugust Attacks, which is all going to be animal attack movies. And you're probably thinking, oh, it's going to be all crocs and sharks and stuff like that. Joke's on you, because we're doing some weird fucking animal attack movies. We're doing.
Oh, man, I can think of so many.
Oh, we're doing like animals that normally wouldn't attack. Like you expect a gator or a shark to attack. But we're doing animals that wouldn't typically be attacking you. It's going to be a lot of fun. So tune in for that on the regular show here. I don't know when I'm posting this one, but I will have a interview with the writers and director of Gothic Slayers coming out around this time. I'm going to try and do a couple more director interviews throughout the year, and that's where we are with that. So until next episode you listen to, I never know how to end these, because I don't know who's listening to these in what order. So I guess until the next episode, stay tuned and
stay spooky.